Welcome to Coach Alert, the 2-minute showcase that brings you highly respected business strategists, management consultants, and executive coaches. Today, joining us is Pamela J. Green. Not only were you named one of DC's top coaches, but some of your former clients have called you a powerhouse, dynamic, a fix-it professional. What is it about you that prompts such accolades?
Well, it's so interesting. I'm really honored by being named one of DC's top 20 coaches. And one of the things that it takes me back to with that question is when I was in elementary school. And in elementary school, everyone fought. I was in fights all the time, but we were also, all of us were about the same height, right? Same weight, all of those things. It changed for me when I moved into middle school. And in middle school, something happened the summer between elementary school and middle school. Everyone grew except me. So I had to learn new ways of communicating and new ways of engaging in conflict. And in fact, that skill set I've been able to adapt into a pretty productive business in helping other leaders and executives learn how to improve their communication skills, learning how to work through conflict, and even improve their collaboration with one another because of the way that I've had to adapt my brand. And so I focus today on working with leaders to do exactly that. It's been a really important part of my journey, and it's really fueled my ability to be able to work with leaders and executives today.
So, what type of leadership style do you endorse?
All of them. I usually do this exercise with leaders, and I ask them to pick their top two and which one do they think is useful for their organizations. And ultimately, what we come to is the understanding that in order to be successful in today's climate, while transformational and servant leadership are critically important and wildly popular, it is really important for leaders to be able to adapt and to flex so that they can choose the direction that they need to go in. And that's really why people follow them. It's because they're able to adapt their style, they are able to choose the right style to go with the decision that needs to be made or the outcome that they want to have. And so we work with leaders and executives to help them identify and practice new skills and new ways of being in their organizations.
Tell me more about what you mean.
Well, I mean, cognitive leadership. One of the things that I've been studying and as part of my PhD in organizational management is focusing on helping leaders slow down their thinking process, right? Getting to their mind, their will, and their emotions and having more control over that so that they can make really good decisions. That means we can't get caught up in our emotions. We have to actually slow down that process. So when we get into cognitive leadership, what we're really doing is saying, hey, let's take a pause. Let's look at where we're trying to go. And then what's the actual path that needs to go there? What's the skill set? What is the type of behavior that's needed in order for me to help lead my team to safety or get them to a place where they can actually achieve the goals that we've set out for them?
So, what's your differential?
I would say it's thought partnership, it is advising, and it's executive coaching. I think it's all three of those things blended. Way back in the day, it used to be coaching, open-ended questions all the time. But when you work with leaders and you work with executives, they don't have 6 months for you to spend with really good deep questions, but they don't have a lot of time. So I've found what works is that it's a combination. Sometimes they need to be advised. They just need someone that can help guide them to safety, like really quickly. Sometimes they need someone that can just partner with them. Let's talk at a higher level. Let's elevate their thinking. Let's get them to a place where they're really sort of thinking on the level of their leadership or thinking on the level of their promotion. And then with that, I always throw in some really powerful coaching questions because coaching has a way of opening people up and helping them see what's possible, where they don't need me to tell them what to do. They actually can figure it out on their own and ultimately guide themselves to safety. That combination is what works really well for myself, for my team, and for our clients. leaders often come to me because they'll say things like, Pam, I want to work at the level, I want to think at the level of my promotion. I want to think at the level of senior leadership. I want to show up as more strategic. And yes, you can read books and you can do all kinds of things. But what you have to do is slow down your thinking, right? We talk about emotional intelligence, and that's incredibly important, and it's foundational in this. And so what I try to do is get leaders to think in new ways and introduce new styles that they can begin to practice and then make those things a part of their experience. But the executives and leaders that I work with, they need quick outcomes. And as long as they're willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work, then I have to apply some thought leadership, meaning partnering with them and helping to elevate their thinking, getting them to see their situation from the 30,000 foot level and to see it in new and exciting ways, and allow them to see that the one path they've been taking, that there are actually multiple ways in which they can lead their organizations and guide their organization.
Why are you so in demand?
I've learned how to call a thing with respect. And what that means is when people come into my space, or when they invite me into their space, what they're really saying is, Pam, I'm extending trust to you, right? They're giving me a credit card of trust where they can literally be themselves and allow me to begin to work with them. If they're unwilling to allow me to see who they really are and show up, unapologetically, it makes it difficult for me to work with those individuals. So I spend a lot of time working with clients to build trust, to create that foundation that allows me to help them, sort of be that reflection for them, to hold up the mirror and say, okay, this is what you gave me. Is this really how you want to show up? Is this really what you're trying to be in and for the individuals that you're leading in your organization? And that is where I think my differential really stands out.
For all the executives watching right now, what is your top essential habit that every executive needs to succeed in today's corporate environment?
There are two things. The first thing is practice leadership. We used to practice being adults when we were kids, and I think I did a LinkedIn post about this, but we used to practice being adults when we were kids. We became adults and we stopped practicing. And I really want to bring practice leadership to the forefront. Practice new ways of being. The workforce today demands it. So we have to step up to the plate and bat it home, right? Really hit some home runs with practice leadership. The second thing is change management. Adopting, applying, learning different change management styles will help leaders know what skill to practice, what leadership style to put in play at the given time when it's needed. If you're not practicing, if you don't have a change management roadmap, it makes leadership very, very difficult, and you often go astray. Your playbook has come to an end. And what I want to do is extend the life of that playbook for leaders.
And that's today's Coach Alert. To contact Pamela Green, visit her website today at PamelaJGreen.com.